Welcome to Women of the World, a show which gives a voice to women from around the world who have chosen to make the United States their home. Here's today's moderator, Nadia Giordano.
Hello and welcome to Women of the World. I'm Nadia Giordana. Today's program is kind of a goodbye and a hello. We'll be saying goodbye to the program in its old format, and our co-hosts will not be saying goodbye. They're going to be saying hello to joining the other co-hosts in our other program, It's a Woman's World. We'll expand the family and expand the breadth of the subject matter that we'll be covering. It'll be women's issues from across the United States and also from around the world. So without further delay, let's meet the ladies and hear a little bit about what's to come in 21. Hello, everyone, ladies. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is a combined program of Women of the World, a farewell, and It's a Woman's World, a look to the future. We have co-hosts with us from both programs, not all of them, but a few from each show, who are here to share a little bit about themselves, and we'll talk about our programs and what we've enjoyed in the past and what we foresee for the future. First, let me share with you our new mission statement, which is to discuss any and all topics under the sun that are of interest to women worldwide. And I think that's very fitting, and it combines the mission statements of both programs. We'll begin by having each of you give your name, introduce yourself, and a sentence or two about yourself that might be a defining sentence, something exciting or interesting that you might be doing in your life that we might not know about. And then we'll get into our discussion in a little bit. But before we have you introduce yourselves, I want to show a clip from one of the original Women of the World programs. So bear with me for just a moment. And I think, Melissa, you'll remember this. And Amalia, I think you are in here too.
Welcome to Women of the World, a show which gives voice to women from around the world who have chosen to make the United States their home. Hosted today by Melissa Nembangi, and here's Melissa.
Hello, and welcome to this second episode of Women of the World TV show. If you missed us last time, my name is Nyango Melissa Nambangi, and I'm originally from Cameroon, West Africa. And we have our co-host, Amalia, who is originally from Latin America, Guatemala, yes. And we have Uma Janga from India originally, and we have Fadia
from Yemen.
From Yemen, and we have a special guest today, Nadia Polukin Pratt, who
Hi,
we
ladies.
are going to be talking
Hello,
with.
Nadia.
Hello, ladies. Hello, the viewers at home. We are going to be talking with her throughout this session. She is an immigration lawyer, and she also works with the disabled, and she has a fascinating story about herself.
That goes back a little ways in time. I recognize the banners, the different banners. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the second program we ever did. And Melissa, I loved how you hosted the program. And of course, we were waiting every time to see how beautifully you'd be dressed in your native costumes. It was all very much fun. And good topics and suggestions. And Amalia, you especially, those Guatemalan flair recipes were a real treat, because we were in the studio at that time and we were able to actually taste and eat those surprises.
Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it does. It does. So Melissa, why don't we start with you and talk a little bit about yourself so that the other ladies from It's a Woman's World know a little bit more about you.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Melissa Nambangi. So that's a name from the southwest region of Cameroon, and I'm from a group called the Orokos of the southwest of Cameroon. I am by training, I'm actually a journalist by profession, TV journalist from Cameroon, Cameroon Television, and then came here as a Humphrey Fellow, then stayed on and got my master's in communication with a minor in women's studies, and went on to start the Minnesota African Women's Association, MAWA. So women's issues has made a lot of who I am. Is one of my greatest interests. It's actually what got me the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship, which is one of the Fulbright fellowships. And it's actually what got me sent to the University of Minnesota, because they said I was interested in women's issues. I should go to Minnesota, that it is a women's state. I had no idea that there was even a state called Minnesota. At the time I was coming, I had been to the US, but only Washington, New York, that sort of thing, Atlanta, those are places I knew. And as I was coming, somebody told me, oh my God, Minnesota is very cold. So I immediately made myself some very thick sweaters. But then I came, got to Minnesota, went through the whole program, and everybody thought I would leave because of the cold. I'll probably move. I was thinking I'll move to Atlanta. But by then I'd got to know so many people, and the warmth and concern and support I got from people in Minnesota just made me feel, well, better have warm people than warm weather. So
We're happy. We're so happy to have you here.
yes.
Amalia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amalia Moreno Damgard. I was born and raised in Guatemala City. I am an author and a speaker. I am also a business owner. I have a corporate background in international banking, and through my business, Amalia Latin Gourmet, I help corporations of all sizes develop a broader understanding and appreciation of Latin cultural nuances through virtual gourmet cuisine experiences. And I am now working on my second book. So that's what's kept me busy for the last few years, and especially during COVID, because that was the time when my editing and recipe testing really started picking up speed. So I'm looking forward to publishing my second book next spring.
Oh, how exciting. I can't wait to see it. Thank you, Amalia. Beverly, probably you should be next since you've got some interesting things to tell us. You've been participating in all three of these shows in some capacity, and you have a new role coming up in the new year. So talk to us, Beverly.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's so wonderful to see everybody. I love the Zoom recordings because we actually have a chance to connect during these pandemic times. My new role is going to be the host for the Generation Show. Nadia and I have been working together for quite some time, along with Mike, on how we're going to continue on with the shows. And so Nadia will be hosting, moderating these shows. And I will be doing the same with the Generation Show. And that's a senior show. If somebody hasn't seen that, the topic is targeted towards seniors and their particular interest and subject matters that they might be interested in. So we have a wonderful new schedule lined up for this next year. Really excited about doing those, presenting those to everybody. So I hope everybody also, you have a moment, check in on that as well. Just a little bit about myself. I am a producer, a storyteller, editor and an instructor. So some of the other things I will be doing with my career, with my future, is I'll be creating some workshops with on how to create a family legacy, workshops about what you do with all your old photos, things like that. So, you know, a lot of new things coming up in the coming year, and very excited about it. Love these shows and love seeing everybody here today.
And let's hear from Barbara next.
Well, thank you, Nadia. And it is an honor to be in this incredible group of powerful women. I am, my name is Barbara Lavalure, and I am a retired international photojournalist. I spent 20 years in Europe, in England, and mostly in Germany. The last few years in Germany, I freelanced full-time for 7 German newspapers. It was just an amazing experience. I've been back in my home state of Minnesota for 25 years, and I am still writing. In fact, I'm writing my memoir and have been for 3 years. And I am a blogger. I still take photographs and have a lot of my photographs on Facebook. Which has me connect with all the women I met throughout the years in Germany, who are now all over the world. And one of the things I love about this program is the women from around the world and of different cultures. It is so enriching. I refer to myself as refired as opposed to retired, really. I'm 75, I'm super busy. I love life. I have a wonderful husband, and I'm game for trying anything new.
That's what refired means, not that you got lost a job twice.
Well, I did jump out of an airplane on my 66th birthday.
Ooh. I'll live by your experience.
Yeah, me too.
Susan, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Susan Strauss. You know, one of the nice things about being my age is that I've been very fortunate to have a very broad, meaningful career. I started out as a registered nurse. Then I went to teaching in high school. I've been an assistant professor at a couple of different universities. I've been in management, and probably, and then in a variety of different kinds of industries. And probably most recently, I've been working in the area of harassment, with an emphasis on sexual harassment, both in the schools and in the workplace. So I've written a couple of books on it. I went back to school and got my doctorate in organizational leadership. So I also conduct investigations and, what else? I do webinars, and I testify for lawsuits dealing with harassment. But I'm starting to wean off some of these things. I've been excited to retire, but now I'm letting go. I'm not taking on any more lawsuits, and other than one more training, I'm not going to do any more trainings person to person. I'll keep up doing the webinars because it's a nice retirement gig, but I really am looking forward to giving back, and I want to get involved in some volunteer work other than the one we're doing here, which I treasure. I wish we did it once a month like we did before. So I want to do some volunteer work dealing with public health, because my master's is in public health, as well as dealing with animals and women's rights. I love photography. I'm trying to learn how to do it, but haven't had the time that I would like. And I love international travel. I've been fortunate to go to many, many different countries. And once this pandemic is over, I'm saving my money to go again. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Oh, thank you, Susan. And I'm Nadia Jordana, and I've been involved in different capacities with these programs since 2011 or 2012, somewhere around there, about getting darn close to 10 years ago. And I think I started in just being in the background and working with social media and things like that. I remember one day that a co-host didn't show up and there was an empty seat at the table, and now I are one.
Yay.
And it just grew from there. And all I did in the very beginning was keep that seat warm and say one or two words, but it was a start. It was a
Yes.
start. I was hooked after that. But I do enjoy doing these programs, and I even have a separate program. I call it my little mini program, Where Women Talk. That's just a little 12, 14-minute show that's designed for strictly social media. And I do that in my spare time. Those are quick and easy shows to knock out. And I find a lot of the talented women, some of them from this group right here. So, we find a lot of ways to put a spotlight on women from around the world and around this city and this area and around the country now that we're using Zoom. So I'm really happy with that. And just as going to a little tidbit from my previous incarnation, at one point in time in my life, I was a stockbroker and a gold and silver broker. So
Oh my gosh.
I
That
have
is
a
cool.
history in sales and marketing and telephone sales.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear it. I haven't thought about it in a long time. But now we want to talk a little bit about Melissa and Amalia. At first, I want to share with you a couple of my memories of women of the world. And if any of you have seen those episodes, but do you remember that one that you hosted, Melissa, the immigration law episode? We did a
Yes.
couple of episodes with immigration
Yes.
law, and I thought that was very, very valuable for the women because I think the 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 motto for that program was about giving a voice to women who had made the United States their home, and they needed
Yes.
to hear from experts who could help them with issues in this country. If you don't know the language that well, there's a lot of reasons to need extra help once you've made a new country your home.
Yeah.
And I thought that was one of the better programs. And of course,
Yes. It actually is my favorite.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good one. I got a lot out of it. And Amalia, well, you contributed more than once to the cultural flair with food. Tell us a little bit about some of the recipes that you do on television.
Well, I don't remember all of them, but I know that I've been part of this for at least 4 years, maybe more. And the very first one that I started, I was invited as a guest. And then after that, you invited me to be a host. So the first one that I shared was a recipe from my homeland, Guatemala, and I believe it was Mayan stew, and that was paired with rice. And I think that segment or episode, I did it with Ali because we were comparing the differences between the stews from India and the stews from Guatemala. And we were comparing and contrasting the similarities, yet the differences. And then at the end, we tasted, and they were both very unique and very delicious. So that was one of the ones that I remember. Then I did another one that had to do with cactus. And so I prepared a cactus salad. And that was very nice because it wasn't just me cooking. During that segment, we had, I believe, at least 2 or 3 of the co-hosts preparing their favorite dish or their favorite salad. And so that was really nice because it gave us the opportunity to ask questions specifically to not only the recipe, but also why do you do that and so on. So that's always intriguing for me why people do what they do, especially in cooking. So it's been a very, very nice experience sharing more recipes. I don't remember all of them because it's been a lot of different shows. But I have done more than that. I have also been co-host where I have introduced different guests. And the one that I remember was Nikki Abramson, when she did
Yeah.
her solo play. That was very special, especially now that she's no longer with us. And special because Nikki was part of my Women Entrepreneurs of Minnesota group, which I didn't mention at the beginning. I'm a co-founder. And so she was part of our board. And so it was a very special show for me because I knew Nikki very well. And I knew it from other circles as well. So after I saw her show, I thought it was a very special one.
And Barbara, about It's a Woman's World, you joined us a little later in the year, but you were involved in a couple of interesting episodes.
Well, I was, and I kind of did the same thing that Amalia did. Once I was interviewed as the subject for a show, I thought this group of women is really cool, and how can I get involved in being a journalist? And having done interviews for decades, I don't think I waited to be asked. I think I asked if I could
I think you
be
did,
involved, if I'm not mistaken.
but it
Yeah.
was already on my mind.
Well, and I do want to make a plug here. I think, especially for first-time viewers, I love the fact that this program is not only available on a local channel, but also on YouTube. Is that not correct, Nadia? So I mean, really, it's available to share with friends all over the world, and I think that that's one of the perks in being involved. Without getting specific about shows that I might have co-hosted, I would just like to say the important thing is getting voices heard, women's voices heard, especially in our community, where, I mean, in the metropolitan community of Minneapolis and St. Paul, but also larger. I think that's so important, and this is a perfect venue for having women's voices heard. So I would invite anyone who's viewing this program to contact one of us if you know us, and say, I know someone, or I am someone, so that we can make a contact.
Absolutely. And Susan,
Yes, like Barbara, I had initially been a guest as well, many, many, many years ago. I don't even know how many. And I thought, well, this is a cool deal. And I don't remember if I requested to be a part of It's a Woman's World or if I was asked. I don't remember, but it's been a gift to be involved. And I really enjoy hearing from so many different women and their different perspectives of the world and their different gifts. I think those that have stuck with me the most, one would be all of the cooking shows, Amalia, when you've cooked and when Ali has cooked, because I am not a cook. I hate it, but I love eating it. So those stick out with me just very much. And then when she did her
The dance.
Indian dancing, I remember that as well. She's beautiful and she does the dancing so beautifully. So I remember that. And then because I love science, the other speaker that I really enjoyed was the woman from Abbott who was a geneticist. And we talked to her about different diseases that were genetic based, which is a good share of them, and that there's a difference between if it's genetic or if it's hereditary, they're not the same thing. And I think we talked particularly about breast cancer with her, as I recall. But the other one, and this was a man that we had on, which we don't usually have, the guy from, I think it was the FBI or the CIA. Do you remember him? And young, I mean, you know, when you're my age, he looked about 12, but anyway, he was young. And he was very articulate, and he talked about what it's like to be an FBI agent. And I wanted to know if he had his gun on him because I think they carry it all the time, but he wouldn't tell us whether he had his gun on him or not. And then he talked about a citizen type of week-long effort that you can apply to attend, where you basically learn all this CSI kind of stuff. I still would like to do that. I thought it sounded tremendous.
Yeah, I
But
kind of thought you might do that, and I have to jump in here now too. I wanted to catch, with a minute or so left, Beverly Crosby. You were in the control room a lot of the time through this program. What did things look like from that window farther back than the rest of us?
That's a really good question. Wow, where do I start? um, I've photography, being an instructor and everything has always been my career. Before I got involved in television work, and I've been now involved, what, 15, 18 years now. So, and I really am a producer. I produced, my own shows, but then when I start working with Mike, I became the person who did the lighting and the sound and the, camera direction and, all of those things. But so I did sit behind the scenes much of that time. And, as always, you get a different bird's eye view from that. I always felt that the one thing that was consistent, we had good, interesting guests. And sometimes the reactions were fun to look at. I think we have a few bloopers, along the way too, that we can go back and laugh at a little bit, but, one way or the other, we always made it work, and so it was nice. It was really nice to see women coming together from different walks of life, different interests, and especially how they connected after the show, after the recording was finished. It's amazing how many new friends were made by just connecting, on the show. So it's been a good run. It's been a wonderful run. And the real quick, because I know I only got just a few seconds here, is that we're not, even though this particular show is going to be combined with the other one, we're still going to be, right, Nadia, we're still going to be involving issues about women from other countries as well as women here. It's just women's issues, no matter whether you live in the United States or you live in another country.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And thank you all for participating with me today. And thanks everyone out there for watching us. We'll see you next time on It's a Woman's World.
bye.